Hello and welcome to our recorded lesson for 6.10. This is my last day in Florida, so I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye to Florida and complete this lesson for you, and then we'll have our regular class session back in my office on Monday. All right, so 6.10, a search for goodness. We're not doing a flip video lesson today. This is just going to be your only recording to watch for the day. So there will be a page in your student guide that's not complete unless you complete it on your own. I'll go ahead and go over the information for that on Monday. I'll also post a flip video lesson, which you can go back and do if you'd like to fill in that information. So a little bit backwards today, but I think we'll manage just fine. All right, so this would have been our review questions for class. Who was the founder of Buddhism? This was a review from yesterday's lesson. Answer: Siddhartha Gautama, aka also known as the Buddha or the Enlightened One. Siddhartha Gautama could have lived his life as a prince, but he chose to live that life to seek a way to end pain and suffering for all. He could have lived his life as a prince. And did the Buddha believe in Hindu gods or deities? No. And so that made it very different from Hinduism and from, to be honest, some of the other religions that we've studied. So objectives: identify major Buddhist beliefs, describe the split in Buddhism regarding beliefs about Buddha, and then describe nirvana. And we talked a little bit about some of those things yesterday. Remember I said that the lessons would overlap? So changing Hindu ideas. This is very similar, looks like the slide that we went through yesterday. Again, ancient ways. The Buddha taught that the following the Vedic text was unnecessary. The Buddha challenged the authority of Hindu priests, and he did not believe in Hindu gods or deities. Changing society. Buddhism provided a more individualistic approach to enlightenment. Rebirth was seen as a means to evolve. And then the caste system. Buddha opposed the caste system. The Eightfold Path could lead any individual to nirvana, and the Buddha's teaching reached all classes. And then, obviously, we're not using our polling tools because this isn't a live class session, but Buddha supported the caste system. No, he did not. Buddha opposed it. He was against it. Remember, he believed that everyone should be kind of in this state of nirvana, this kind of equality, not the hierarchy that the caste system demanded. Buddhist beliefs. The essential self of a living being never dies. How one is reborn has nothing to do with the caste. The Four Noble Truths describe important Buddhist beliefs. By following the Eightfold Noble Path, Buddhists believe they will attain freedom from suffering, which is called nirvana. Suffering is caused by our desire and greed. And then right living through meditation and compassion for others can free a person of desire and greed. And then again, not using your polling tools, we're not in a live session, but according to Buddhist beliefs, how one is reborn has nothing to do with the caste, and that is true. Some more on Buddhist beliefs: nirvana, and that was that word we talked about yesterday, which kind of, in a basic sense, it means kind of this ideal state, but it's a really involved word. So nirvana, the reward for living a life filled with good deeds and thoughts, is nirvana. Nirvana is a state of freedom from suffering, fear, and pain. People progress towards nirvana by pursuing the Eightfold Path, which was discussed yesterday in that video. Buddha said nirvana is the highest goal for human beings who seek to end the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. And then nirvana means blowing out the flame. Another question we're not going to type in chat. Blank is a state of freedom from suffering, fear, and pain, and that's nirvana. So Buddhist beliefs, this Eightfold Path. So the first is this right thought: believe in the nature of existence as suffering and in the Four Noble Truths. And you might be able to use this to fill in that information on your student guide, the one right after the Siddhartha one that we did yesterday. Right intent: incline towards goodness and kindness. Right speech: avoid lies and gossip. Right action: don't steal from or harm others. Right livelihood: respect or reject work that hurts others. Right effort: prevent evil and do good. Right mindfulness: control your feelings and thoughts. And right concentration: practice proper meditation. And so when you think about that, it's a really good way to live your life. So a lot of times people will, we talked about this yesterday, people will kind of combine Buddhism with another religion that they have. And sometimes people think of Buddhism as a philosophy versus a religion to kind of combine or mix with other religions. But in general, when you think about it, it's just a good way to live your life. The Four Noble Truths: truth of suffering, So suffering and unhappiness are a part of human life. No one can escape sorrow. Suffering can be mental or physical. Truth on the cause of suffering. The cause of suffering is selfishness and greed. Suffering comes from our desires for pleasure and material goods. People always want more and are never satisfied. Never satisfied. And so when you think about that, that's a little bit of a difficult one because the cause of suffering is selfishness and greed. If you stub your toe because you're running over to help your grandmother, that might not be because of selfishness or greed. That might be because you were rushing to try and help someone. So that was a little bit difficult to understand. But if you really study Buddhism, you can really understand the true meaning of that. But on a quick sense, I know you may be questioning that. Question number 3, truth of the end of suffering. People can end their unhappiness by ending their greed and selfishness. When they no longer desire worldly things, they will end the cycle or rebirth and the suffering that comes from it. So basically saying, if you don't want, a Ford Mustang, if you don't want that, that drive to get that Ford Mustang, you may end you're suffering for it, because if you can get to this state of nirvana, this state of peace where you don't want those extra things, that's kind of what this Buddhist belief is saying. And then question number 4, truth of the path leading to the end of suffering. The way to the end of suffering is following the Eightfold Path that leads to wisdom, enlightenment, and salvation. And so if we go back, basically following this, these actions, these ideas will help you to get to this state of nirvana. Obviously, some things along the way, everyone has pain and suffering, everyone has these things, but this is the goal in life, is to act this way, and then the majority of your life will lead to good things. Scroll down here. Sorry, I don't have my mouse with me. Okay, poll in your answer. Obviously, we're not polling again. The 4 Noble Truths describe important beliefs of which religion? Buddhism. Buddhists believe they will attain nirvana or freedom from suffering by following the Eightfold Path. That is true. There shouldn't be a question mark after that. Buddhist beliefs Dhamma or Dharma. Means the same thing. Dhamma or Dharma is a concept generally known as the teachings of the Buddha. The Dhamma is the way of the Buddha taught to live your life. So again, kind of that Eightfold Path, those 4 Noble Truths, kind of that whole concept and thought process. Buddhism began in India and became a major world religion. So Buddhism, after the death of Buddha, Buddha stories and talks, I have to move my webcam here, I can't see that, were collected in books of writings. Buddha did not think of himself as a god, but after his death, some of his followers did. Buddhism splits. Buddhism split into 2 main sections, the Theravada and the Mahayana. Members of the Theravada follow the Buddha's teachings exactly. Members of the Mahayana believe that important individual interpretation is important. So again, kind of that interpretation of, if you're running to, help your grandmother and you stub your toe, that's kind of interpretation as to pain and suffering, versus you run and hit to help your grandma and you hit your toe. There's something selfish to be thought about that. And neither is wrong or right. Those are just the main differences. And then if we were in our regular class, we would talk about this picture. So this is the Bagan Temple. It's located in Miami. It's the capital of the pagan kingdom, which flourished between the 11th and the 13th century. So this is the 26 square mile site is made up of more than 2,200 Buddhist stupas, pagodas, and other religious buildings. So many have been restored. Visitors are free to explore them inside. They're the best way to discover them is by bicycle. Obviously, they're so large and big. So if you are ever in this area of the world, this would definitely be something to check out. And right here, this is Bagan, Myanmar. And this is kind of, you can see where it is right here. So this is this picture in here. All right, so do you have a good understanding of today's lesson? Again, I'm sorry, the breeze is blowing here and it's blowing my hair in my face. Hopefully you have a good understanding of this lesson. I know we didn't do it as a live class. You do need to make sure you have your readings complete, which are on your OMS. Okay, so make sure that you have those. Yesterday, I believe, was 190 to 199. Today is 200 to 204. complete your online lesson, complete everything in there. Again, there is no flip video lesson that's posted for today. I will probably post one in there for those of you that want to go back and take a look. Obviously, the whole purpose is to do it before the lesson, but just in case you want to touch base before the unit test, it will be in there by next week. So you don't need to complete your student guide pages 193 to 195, but if you can and if you want to from the information in this video, please feel free to do so, so you don't have to go back. I don't have the flip video for you with it kind of directly laid out as I usually do. Okay, so that is all that I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching this flip video. I was going to say joining me, but we're not really joining, right? Thank you for those of you that have joined live class session this week. It's been fun videoing or teaching live classes from Florida, from the palm trees. I'm sitting out here actually at our hotel today. It's early morning, but you can kind of still see those palm trees in the background. But I will be back to Ohio today. I heard it's going to be snowy and cold, so I'm not really looking forward to that. But I will see you all Monday in class, and then we'll work on our lesson 6.11. And then, as I said yesterday, on Tuesday, we'll probably do our review, and I'll open up the test if you feel prepared and ready to take the Unit 6 test. But I will keep that open all during break, and then it will be open. We'll have a kind of an open session on the Monday we return from break on the 29th, where I'll give you time to complete your test. So don't feel like you have to rush to get it in on Tuesday. And we'll talk more about that next week, okay? And remember, there's also an extra credit opportunity that will be available only for over Thanksgiving break. So it'll be available from Tuesday evening until the next Monday morning after Thanksgiving. So you can ask questions about that when we get back to class on Monday. All right. Thanks again for joining me, or for watching this, I guess. And I hope you all have an amazing weekend. See you when I get back to Ohio. Bye, guys.